Welcome students to my online class. This is Sarker Afroz, lecturer, Department of English. Today I will talk about a tricky topic, that is sentence rearrangement. Yes, my dear students, sentence rearrangement is a great way to check how good one's in English. It seems so easy, but it can get more tricky when more than one sentence seems to fit perfectly. So your reading of habit so your habit of reading and vocabulary will help you to understand the meaning and set them or apply them perfectly. Hope you understood. Well, now dear students, let's have a look on the board. Well, dear students, here I have already written what I meant by sentence rearrangement. Sentence rearrangement consists of a group of jumbled sentences that need to be reassembled to make sense. Once again, I repeat it. Sentence rearrangement consists of a group of jumbled sentences that need to be reassembled to make sense. So, dear student, here is the definition. Here is the definition of these things. In this type of question, the candidate is given a set of 8 to 10 sentences which are in jumbled order. So, 8 sentences are given to the students for the students of class 9 and 10, and 10 sentences are given for the students of 11 and 12. So, my dear students, in your examination, there are 2 types of rearrangement is very common. The first one, you can see I wrote here types of rearrangement. First one is famous personality. That means your given rearrangement may be or may not famous personality or educative story. First one, famous personality or historical event. Next, educative story or abstract event. Before I start, suppose whatever could be your topics, but the top do's, what you have to do to write this rearrangement perfectly. In this regard, firstly, you have to, it's very important, dear students, please remember it, read the sentences once, twice or more. I want to emphasize these things. To identify the subject. To identify the subject, you have to read the sentence once, twice or more if essential. Next one, middle sentence could be logically rearranged. It needs to be logically rearranged by identifying some keywords. I already told you, dear students, as if you have a good habit of reading like books, magazines, novels, journals, newspaper, then it will be a great help for you, because you will be able to understand the consequence or logic of these things. At the same time, you will also be able to find out the keywords. So it's very important to grow a habit of reading. Next, very important things, coherence, very important, between one sentence and the other is important. So you can see this number 3 topics is very important. When you are preparing your sentence, must remember about this coherence. Next one, it comes read selectively. Very important topic. When you are identifying your sentence from the jumble sentence, to reassemble this, read selectively and search for transition words. Transition words are important. Very important. Next one, before I go the next one, I must to say you To figure out this point, you have to very smart. That means I'm talking about this one. Read selectively and search for transition words. In this regard, you have to be very smart and must show your sharpness. Search the transition words. Okay, dear students. Next one is very important. Very important for you. I wrote here, make a box. That means you have to prepare a box to write the serial number. As I told you earlier that there may be 8 or 10 sentences for you. 8 sentences for class 9 and 10 students. Class 9 or 10 students, and 10 sentences for the students of class 11 or 12. But the process are the same. So you have to write the serial number in the box. It is very important. Without this, you will not get a good marks. Definitely will not get the marks in sentence rearrangement. Last one, the processes of rearrangement of jumbled sentences should be result in a meaningful paragraph. That means after doing all this, after making this box, you have to write the paragraph, that means whole story, below the box, and sentence should be, you can see I underline this line, should result in a meaningful paragraph. So dear students, finally you have to write all the sentence in a meaningful paragraph. It's very important for sentence rearrangement. I hope you understood the process of this. Now I will show you by giving 2 questions. One is for famous personality and next one is for an educative story. So it will be very clear to you to understand the whole thing. Okay, dear students, you can see I wrote here method of identifying sentence. Here I have already made a box for you. Suppose this is your question. This passage is about this sentences are about personality or historical event, and next one is educative story or abstract event. You can see, okay, for personality or historical events, at first I already told you that you have to read the passage once, twice or more. So find out the name with title. That means in the sentences you will find the name or the subject. If it's about the personality, you will find their birth, year, place or date, anything related birth. Next one, it comes parentage. You will find, it's very common thing, you will find the parentage. Next will come academic career. You have to find out the sentence related to his academic career. Next will come professional career if given. Next, the contribution. That means if the personality is a famous person, in that case you have to find out the contribution. Definitely which will be mentioned there. Next, rewarded. If the renounced person get any reward. After that, death or ending sentence. By this way you will be able to identify sentence, and after that you will have to write a box and the whole paragraph. On the contrary, if your passage is about an educative story, in this time you have to say it's a very common thing that you will find the words like they lived once, many years ago, long ago. It's a very common thing to understand the first sentence. So it will help you to find out the first sentence. Next one, maybe there will be a date, year of the incidents. Next, description of good side of the example. If it's an educative story, maybe it's happened, there will be an description of good side.
2, 3.
So next one, description of bad side. It may happen that there we mentioned anything about the bad side. Last one, use of connectors. It's very common thing there to identify the sentence, the next sentence logical balance will be there. So like the connectors, but so these things will be there, and words like hence, finally, therefore, come to understand, end. If you want to find out the last portion, maybe it happened that there you'll find this type of words to identify the last portion. These are the things, the things you have to follow to identify the sentences. After doing all this, see here you have to make, I already told, written here answer rearrangement. The process is very careful. You have to be very careful when you are writing these things, because this is the part where your examiner will test you. You have to make a box as I made here. First one I wrote here 1 to 8 for the students of class 9 and 10, because you have to write the serial number. After that you have to write the answer. Suppose your first answer will C and next one is D, is F, like this way. You have to write everything mentioned here. Passage, maybe suppose it's H and it's G. By this way you have to write this box very properly. After that you have to write the whole story. You can see I wrote here write whole story like a paragraph. That means after making the box you have to complete the paragraph as a whole, because sometimes it may happen that in your question on asked only the box, but don't forget to make a good impression by writing this paragraph. So after doing this box, definitely write the whole story like a paragraph. Okay dear student, this is the whole process of sentence rearrangement. I hope you understood the process, and of course you will follow it. Okay dear students, this is the correct and absolute method of sentence rearrangement. Hope everyone will practice it. And one most important thing, please nourish a habit of reading. Thank you everyone. That's all for time being. Thank you very much.